I'm Matt McClure with agentandadvisor.com. I'm here with Sylvia Gordon, the president of Gordon Marketing. Sylvia, thanks so much for taking a few minutes for me. I really do appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Well, today we're talking about how to walk away from the wrong client. And it can be an awkward thing. I mean, how do people go about doing that?
Well, especially when you're a new agent or a young agent new to the profession, you you want every sale. You're clawing to pay the bills. So it doesn't even cross your mind that somebody might be a client with so many red flags that you really don't even want to work with them. So first of all, you have to get to a point in your career when you're like, you know what? It's okay if I don't work with every client. Um, you get to a point in your career when you've already had some clients that have become nightmares for you that you wish you were not their advisor. I remember I had a lady that came in and she just came into the office mad about Medicare, mad about the government, hated the Republicans. She was just mad about everything. And normally, I can diffuse that, and I'm trying to explain the rules and try to get on her side. And she wasn't having any of it. I was part of the government. I was part of the problem. And after like a half an hour of trying to, diffuse her anger, get her on track to show her what her options were and help advise her, I finally just gave up. And I just said, maybe this is not a good fit. Maybe there's another agent you might feel more comfortable with. And she's like, oh, no, you're a good fit. Well, I don't want to work with her now, right? Because I've had 30, 40 minutes of her ranting and raving. So I said, well, there's a lot of agents in the company, and I'd like to give you some other names and recommendations that might be better suited for you. No, I want to work with you. And I didn't want to be in the position to say, lady, I'm not going to work with you. At this point, you've shown me who you are, and I don't want to work with you. Now, I was at the point in my career where I was firm about that. I'm not going to work with her. And I have the right. I don't have to work with everybody. It is right. It's free country, but you cannot discriminate against your clients. So you want to be very careful. If it's a client that you just feel like you have a personality difference, her attitude, the vibe check isn't checking out, right? That it's not anything to do with race, religion. They're not going to come back and say, you wouldn't work with me because I was transgender or Hispanic or anything. So, that could be touchy if you had a client that was really irate, that might be from a minority group. You might be uncomfortable trying to refer another agent to them because then they could potentially attribute that to discrimination. So you got to be a little careful with that. I had another client called me and extremely nice, wanted me to come out to the house. Went out to the house. He was extremely nice. His wife, hate to bash on the women, but his wife was horrible. She was screaming at him during the whole hour and a half appointment. She was furious about her eye doctor. Nothing about the insurance, about her eye doctor and the problems she was having with her eye doctor. And she was furious about her realtor. I mean, some of this is dementia. We're dealing with older clients that have a lot of other issues, right? And so it might have been that. But I clearly did not want to work with this couple. I could not work with this couple. So I'm trying to back out of and they basically would not let me. They said, we'll do anything to work with you. Please, 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 please work with us. And so I said, against my better judgment, I said, okay. Now they called me on New Year's Eve at 8:30 at night. I, of course, did not take the call. They called me on New Year's Day, 8:00 in the morning. I did take the call. I'm not a big drinker. I wasn't hungover. And they're like, hey, we called you last night. You didn't call us back. And I said, I know. It was New Year's Eve and I was with my family. And they're like, well, if you're going to be our agent, you basically need to be available 24/7. And I said, that's just not possible. No insurance company's available in those hours. They have standard hours, generally like 6 to 6 Eastern, something reasonable. But I have a family, and that just won't be possible. You can always call the insurance company if you have an emergency hour after hours, but I have very lenient hours. And they were just lighting me up about how I wouldn't take their call. And I said, okay, I'm sorry. What is your problem? It was a very minor problem, very minor. And as you can imagine, this client has had minor problems always after hours, always on holidays for years. They're still my client. This is probably 7 years later. And I wish I would have followed the advice I'm giving you guys today, which was too many red flags, bow out of the appointment. Say it's just not a good fit. I'm too busy right now. Any other polite way you can say that maybe they would be better off with a different agent, refer a different agent to them, or maybe just give them the number of the insurance company if you've already gone through the process to help narrow down their options and you want to recommend this or that insurance company. Listen to your inner voice. Do the gut check, because it is not worth it to have these clients that give you nonstop grief. And every agent out there that's been doing this for a couple of years knows exactly what I'm talking about.
And make sure, as you said earlier, that third point, very important, just make sure that there is no grounds for discrimination there at all, because that can get you in some trouble if there's even the appearance of that, right?
Right. So that would be where, if your client is in a minority group, of course, you're not refusing to work with them because of their race or ethnicity, but they could infer that you are being racist. So sometimes in those cases, if the client's just really, like I said, not passing the vibe check, but they are a minority or a protected religion, that you just tough it out and go through it anyway.
Yeah. Well, very good. Well, Sylvia Gordon, president of Gordon Marketing, some great insight and tips today. Really appreciate it.